Hey guys, so in lieu of writing an email, I wanted to give you guys just sort of kind of a quick update since a lot of stuff is going on in the world and the US and everything right now. And I just wanted to give you guys an update on sort of where my head is at, what we're looking to do with TTT and things like that in just the coming weeks. So first off, I want to give you guys a personal update. If you don't care, just skip past this part and move on to the next piece. But basically, just to give you guys a quick update, in the last week, I was up in Canada to coach at Atlas Games. We got up there on Wednesday and, we hung out Wednesday. Everything was cool. And then Thursday, the Prime Minister's wife found out she had tested positive for coronavirus, and things got crazy really fast. The event that we were up there to coach and a lot of the athletes were there to compete in got canceled. So we essentially found flights out as fast as possible. One of the other issues when I was up there is that international texting was basically just not working. So there's a lot of text messages that I think probably just got missed. Sometimes I'd get them when I had Wi-Fi, and sometimes I wouldn't get them at all. So if you sent text messages to me during that time, sort of Wednesday through Friday last week, I probably just didn't get them. If you didn't get a response, most likely they just never came through to my phone. Not sure why my phone, I paid for an international plan and then it didn't seem to work. So that was extremely unhelpful. The other thing is we basically spent all of Thursday and Friday trying to find flights and navigate our way back out of Canada once everything kind of hit the fan. So there's a bit of a communications backlog. So I'm working back through training logs and things like that. If there's anything that's really important or pressing, make sure that you point that out to me or send me an additional email or send me a text message and just let me know so that I can address that faster rather than waiting to go back through all the training logs and kind of try and dig my way back through that. Outside of that, I think everything moving forward is going to be pretty smooth. A lot of the travel and coaching that I had planned coming up in the next 2 months is all going to get canceled, or at least postponed. So at this point, I'm not that concerned with time and things like that. My daughter's school has been canceled, so I've got one more big task added to my day. But I know a lot of people are dealing with things that are, at least as big or if not bigger than that. So we'll do our best to get through this thing. So the second piece, mindset. I think that there are going to be like two big buckets that everyone's going to fall into here. The first one is going to be the woe is me. Oh man, I have no motivation right now because everything's not normal. My routine's thrown off. My gym is closed. I think focusing on the negatives is what's going to happen for the vast majority of people during this coronavirus crisis that we're dealing with right now. And I think that following that sort of herd mentality is going to be, it's going to lead to a lot of people who stagnate, who lose motivation, who quit, who use this as a time to slow down and back off and take their foot off the gas. On the flip side, if you look at this as an opportunity, almost a blessing in disguise, if you were scheduled to compete in an event next month, well, now you have an opportunity to build some additional fitness before you actually go to the event because it's now been rescheduled for 2 or 3 months later. It gives you an opportunity to build upon what we've been doing to sort of shift gears for those of you that were in competitive prep phases, to shift gears away from competitive prep towards building a higher fitness ceiling and just really taking yourself to the next level. So I think that rather than looking at this as an obstacle, we're going to look at this as an opportunity. If that means that you're training from home, well, let's identify some very clear things that we can target and we can actually progress when you're training at home. There's always things that we can be improving. And there's plenty of tools that exist to make it so that even if you don't have access to heavy weights, that we can still maintain and retain strength. And we'll discuss those on an individual basis for those of you that need it. But I think for the most part, keep in mind that maintaining an optimistic outlook is always going to lead to better adaptation and better performance improvement than maintaining sort of a negative outlook. I think I kind of alluded to this, but the third point I wanted to touch on is just that this is for a lot of people a blessing in disguise. For those of you who have been nursing injuries but trying to compete through them because your shoulder was hurting, but you had an event coming up in a week or 2 weeks or a month. We now have an opportunity to slow down, rehab those things, and come back stronger and come back healthier. Like, this is an opportunity for you to sort of take a pause and take a breath for a second and shift from that like pressure-based competitive prep towards a more long-term approach, like looking at this as an opportunity to take more time to become more fit and build on what you've already done rather than just trying to hammer. On top of that, I think the other thing is, for those of you who are going to be training from home, I know a lot of people are going to look at that and they're going to be like, oh man, I'm going to be training alone. I'm going to be training, with limited equipment and things like that. This is just like going back to the roots. CrossFit began as garage training. And, when I started CrossFit originally, it was garage training. That's why I have tried to maintain a garage gym basically since, 2008, 2009, even before I started CrossFit. I thought that that was something that was important. But for those of you who don't have a garage gym, just take advantage of the fact that a lot of gyms are going to be allowing you to rent equipment, borrow equipment, get what you can at home, and then relay that information to me. And we're going to do our absolute best to create training progressions that actually keep you moving forward, things that can still apply enough stress to the body to actually create adaptation. I think there's a lot of room for us to make progress here, and we're going to look at it that way. We're not going to look at this as like a roadblock. We're going to look at it as an opportunity. So if you are training at home and you can't get access to equipment, let me know. I'll come up with a list of at-home training equipment that's pretty cheap that you can work with, and then we can start to create training programs that are built around that. If you're stuck with just a door-mounted pull-up bar and you're stuck with just your body weight, well, then we're going to choose some body weight-based targets that we're going to improve, and we'll work hard to improve those things. Whatever it might be, we're going to take this as an opportunity to attack it rather than worrying about what we can't do at the moment, because it turns out we don't have any control over those things. Finally, I know a lot of you are going to be in at-home training situations and things like that, and work and employment situations are changing. If you have issues, schedule a call with me. Let's get on the phone. Let's talk. I think my primary goal is just to help people navigate this as best as possible. I think we can come up with solutions that will help pretty much everyone navigate this time of uncertainty. We're going to do our absolute best to make that happen. So if there's anything that you need from me, schedule a call. My schedule late this week and early into next week should be really opening up as I'm catching up from the crazy travel thing that happened last week. Things are starting to slow down a little bit, but I think by next week, I should have pretty open availability across the board. So if you need to get on a call or something like that, let me know and we'll get that scheduled. Other than that, good luck. Keep a positive, open mindset, and we'll attack this.